Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. I'm your host, Gloria McDonald of PerfectPartners.ca. First, I want to thank our listeners because in just 2 short months, we're already the number 4 ranked show on Voice America's Variety Channel. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening each week. And if you missed last week, I gave away a free gift called Flirting Made Easy. It's a workbook, and you can go to my website at PerfectPartners.ca, and if you just scroll down the left-hand side of the website, you'll see Flirting Made Easy. You can click on that, and you can get a free download of the workbook. So if you're out there and you're single and you're having trouble connecting with that man, or you're having trouble connecting when you're a man going out there meeting a woman, take advantage of this free offer and get that workbook. So I hope you've enjoyed our guests. I feel like we've had some fantastic guests. We've had people who are really experts in their fields. And I've chosen guests because I think they've written a great book that I really want you to know about, or because they've got a unique and different perspective on things, or because there's an issue that I see very consistently in my work with my clients at my dating service, Perfect Partners. So today we're going to be talking about one of those issues that I feel like I see consistently. We're going to be talking about the ticking clock group. That's those group of women in their late 30s to early 40s who really want to have children and still haven't found Mr. Right. So today we're going to be talking about what it really takes to find the man of your dreams. We're going to show you how to overcome your negative conversation about men and dating. We'll talk about why you might be attracting the wrong man, and you'll learn about a proven process to uncover and eliminate the negative subconscious beliefs that hold you back from achieving your goal of finding that great man, all within 1 hour. You can achieve that goal and uncover those limiting beliefs in 1 hour. So today I'll be talking with the founders of Courageous Living, Joanna Andros, a life and emotional healing coach, and Tanya Chernova, a professional speaker and strategic coach. Joanna and Tanya work with women on a daily basis to help them overcome obstacles and create a life that they love. Welcome, Joanna and Tanya.
Thanks, Gloria.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
It's great to have you guys. So this whole ticking clock group thing, this is really a huge issue for lots of women, and both of you are within that age range, right? Like mid-30s to early 40s, aren't you?
I'm a little bit over that.
Okay.
35 to 46, Gloria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. That's 35 to 46.
Yeah.
Trust me, I have had a client who's 46 years old who still wants to have children.
Yep, I have a couple of girlfriends who are in that situation right now.
Yeah. So why do you think it is that women, especially those in the ticking clock group, who really want to be in a relationship are still single?
Well, this is Joanna, and what I would say to that is, and this could be radical, sounds radical, but they're choosing it because they actually want to be single. Now, I know most people would say, no, that's not true. I've created a vision board. I've done all this stuff. I'm trying to date. I'm trying to find somebody, but it's just not happening. And it really comes down to looking within, deeper within, to find out what really are some beliefs underneath there that are not producing the results that they have in their life. I always use this analogy, like if you look at the results in your life, really look at the results that you're getting, it will tell you your true intentions.
Yes.
Your true beliefs.
I have a very, very, very good friend. She's my best friend. She's been my best friend for over 25 years, and she's single. And here I am. I have a dating service, right? and she'd kind of say, well, why aren't you introducing me to people? And I'd introduce her to people every once in a while. And I would say to her, you don't really want to find somebody. And she'd get furious with
me. Yes.
Oh, just furious. And she'd say, that's so hurtful, and you don't know what you're talking about. This is what I want more than anything else in my life.
Yeah.
And I would say, no, you really don't, because if you did, you'd have it. Now, as you said, Joanna, that sounds so harsh.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because after, I don't know how many years of she and I having this conversation, and I finally stopped telling her that she really didn't want it because it was hurtful to her.
Mm-hmm.
Finally went to a therapist, and she uncovered all this subconscious stuff that was going on for her. And she finally came back to me and said, you know what? You're right. I finally realized what's been going on and why I really haven't wanted a man in my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and Gloria, I mean, why we call Tanya and I called our company Courageous Living is because it takes courage to really look at that. You know, people don't want to look farther in and find out maybe there's some hurt or there's some pain there or something there that's stopping them. And yet it is. When you go there, we can guarantee it. If those are the results you're getting, and, you know, we have women that are beautiful, successful, fabulous personalities, you know, everything. They've got everything going for them, and they're not getting the results. Right. Why? Yeah. There has to be something within. There is something within that's stopping them. It's those belief systems, or whether it's about men, whether it's about commitment, whether it's about marriage, whether it's about, you know, loss of freedom, whether they're going to be responsible, whether they're, you know, going to have to give up themselves, be intimate, open, maybe get hurt. There's so many different belief systems underneath there that could be uncovered that go way back. Yeah. You know, and even from their experiences over and over in their life, from past hurts that can just rise up and say, no, it's better to be here. It's safer here.
And that's all happening at a subconscious level. So they're not aware that that's there, and that's why they feel like when someone like you or I say you don't really want it, they completely disagree, and they get defensive, and they feel really mad and hurt, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And powerless, and that's when the desperation starts to come in because they feel that they can't control the situation. It's happening to them. Everyone else is getting what they want, but they're not getting what they want. And so it's really empowering for women to understand that if they truly look at the results, as Joanna said, and think, gosh, I'm really not meeting the right man for me, it's about understanding, so what am I really thinking? How am I actually acting when I'm in dating or even at the beginning of a relationship? Am I being defensive? Am I playing games? What do I really know about having the relationship of my dreams?
So, okay, let's talk a little bit more about this subconscious stuff because, you know, they say that that's what they're looking for. They're out there. They're doing online dating. They're going to speed dating events. They're, you know, maybe they're using a dating service like mine. They're doing all different kinds of things. Let's say, I mean, I've met people, I'm sure you have too, men and women who've been out there, and they may have met 100 to 200 people, and they still haven't found the right one.
Right.
So why is it that they aren't finding what they want? How do they get to that?
Well, talking about the subconscious mind, it really is important to understand how the brain works. That's something that we like to explain to people, how it really works. So, you know, just to make it short brain subject here, is you have two parts of your brain to make it nice and easy. You have the conscious mind, which is your frontal lobe, which is your conscious self, who you are at 20, 30, 40, 50, you know, in the moment.
Right.
Making decisions, having opinions, you know, choosing things in life. And then you have the subconscious mind, which is the rest of the mind at the back of you. And actually, it's much bigger. It covers a way bigger mass, and it's where all your programming is. So it's the programming that is, you know, how to digest your food, about how to drive the car. You know, when you first started driving a car, you're looking over your shoulder, you're doing your feet on the pedals, you're even nervous at thinking about the blinker. You're all in conscious mind thinking about it. But eventually it becomes a program. Absolutely. And it's all stored in the subconscious mind, and now it's automatic. So you'll go in your car and you're talking on the phone and you're doing all sorts of things, but you're automatically, subconsciously driving the car because it's just a program now. Well, that subconscious mind runs our life 95 to 99% of the day. That means we are only in conscious, creative thought 1 to 5% of the day. That means it takes effort for us to really be creating our future or saying, hey, hang on, what did I just say? Because most of the day, we're in this regular programming that we've gotten from our past. So we got to look at that because what happened in our past? What did we see when our parents were married? Or what did we see, you know, or hear about men? What are our belief systems that we've inherited our whole life? Or what are our belief systems about ourselves? Are we good enough? Not good enough? Not worthy? Not pretty enough? Don't deserve? all of those things become our programs. And we all know what that feels like. That's our chatter, that inner chatter that goes loud, loud, loud in our head. And it is so loud in our head because it's 95 to 99% of the day it's going off in our head and reminding us that we don't deserve it or it's never going to happen, this isn't going to work, all of those sort of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so there, and I couldn't agree with you more. If you're just joining us, I'm Gloria McDonald, and you're listening to Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. My guests today are Joanna Andros and Tanya Chernova of CourageousLiving.net. And we're talking about the ticking clock group of women, those women who are in their late 30s, early to mid-40s, and have that biological clock ticking. They want children, but they haven't found a potential father for their children yet. So here's another question for you guys. What does it take to find the man of your dreams?
Well, we start first off, of course, Gloria, with a vision, really understanding what it is that we truly want in the relationship. And that can come in a variety of ways. Of course, we always start off with, who am I, what do I really want? And looking back at all the different relationships that we've had and starting to select what we don't want. And so the vision can be created either in paragraphs or with a vision board or however it looks like. But what does it look like to be dating the right man? How does it feel? What does my family life look like? And all the different ingredients. And then the second most important thing, which becomes ultimately the key to understanding whether you've met the right person for you, is your value systems. Writing out at least the top 5 values that are non-negotiable for you in your life, the things that you're committed to as a human being. Because if you don't share the same values with the person that you're meeting, even though they have all the rest of the criteria, they're beautiful, they make the money, whatever it is that you're looking for, ultimately those are going to be the deal breakers and the argument makers in the relationship.
I absolutely agree with you. So in that list of the top 5 values is not things like I want a man who's 6 feet tall or taller, right?
Correct. Those are characteristics and attributes. And so ultimately, the values that we're looking for is our integrity. Are they family-oriented? And how far up is family important in the scale of values? If somebody values work over top of family and family is low for them on the priority list, this is a woman who's going to find herself a lot lonelier on those special nights when her husband's probably working late, etc., or someone who's not willing to participate when the children come along. So it's about understanding whether trust is really important on your values list so that you can blind trust this person in the relationship. And how far up of the value list is it if it's negotiable? Because people reveal themselves very quickly at the beginning of our dating cycle. And a lot of the times we're so excited about making it work that we just don't even look for those hints. And if we have our top 5 values in mind, then we'll start to evaluate their behavior and think, is this a match? Do they really value this as much as I do? Can I live with this? And that's when a lot of the things like the way people look and the way they act, etc., are less important.
I couldn't agree with you more. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go away because we'll be right back to talk to Joanna Andros and Tanya Chernova of CourageousLiving.net. More about the Ticking Clock Group. Welcome back. I'm your host, Gloria McDonald, and you're listening to Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. My guests today are Joanna Andros and Tanya Chernova of CourageousLiving.net and founders of Diva Day. So, Joanna and Tanya, we were just talking a bit about what it takes to find that great guy, the man of your dreams. And I know there's a little bit more you want to say about that. So tell us a little bit more about how you go out there and find that great guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tanya was mentioning some really important points because it really is about sitting down and creating that vision. And so many of us don't take the time to do that. So it is important whether you get a journal and you start writing what are those things you want, as Tanya mentioned. So that's one step. It's getting into action and really, really looking at what you want. We do that with a car. If we want a car or if we want an outfit or we want things in life, we're really clear specifically what we want. But what about our relationships? So that's number one step. Then what we really, really stress is that you look deeper and find out what is stopping you as well. So this is another thing to do to get this awareness of what might be in your or might be in your way in having this man of your dream. And we always stress this to people because, people can create this beautiful list and have it. It's like, I want him. And we get consciously, as a 35-year-old woman or a 40-year-old woman or 42-year-old woman, they want this man and they know they really deserve it. But is there some part of them underneath that doesn't feel it's ever going to happen? Or do they believe that, there are no good men out there, or they're all taken? Because the moment anybody says that in their head, it's a creative process. It is now etching it more and more in that subconscious mind we talked about, and making it even more an affirmed statement and truth. And our subconscious
I hear
mind,
that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, from my clients, and I'm sure you guys hear it also, that women who are in this, and it's not just women who are in the ticking clock group, but I find specifically women who are in that age range because they feel like they've got this, this clock that literally is ticking. They've got a countdown and they've got a deadline, and if they reach 42 or 43 or 44 or whatever the number is, and they still don't have that child, they won't be able to have that child. So it's huge pressure, and it feels to me like very often the more pressure they have on them, the pickier they get, and the more difficult they make it on themselves, and the more they feel like there are no good men left, all the men they're meeting are jerks and creeps and losers, and I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
If that's what they've got going on in their mind, then that's what they're finding, right? And that's what they're attracting to them.
Exactly. So it's a suck hole. It just keeps you going down and down and down and worse because of that desperation and that intensity of that feeling makes those belief systems just run rampant. And that's what's so important. We got to understand that we're creating it worse and worse. There's got to be a moment where we stop and go, hey, what am I thinking? What am I believing? What am I saying even to my girlfriends? What is coming out of my mouth? Because every time it comes out of my mouth, it's more there in that subconscious mind, and you are more apt to attract it. And that's all you're going to see.
Yeah, and having those conversations with our girlfriends can be the very, very, very worst, right? Because we get with those girlfriends, and if we have another girlfriend who's also single or a married girlfriend who's complaining about her husband, we tend to end up, having these little, excuse me, but, little bitch sessions or the itty-bitty-pitty shitty party, and just a downward spiral.
Yeah, and it's really visible, Gloria, too, when we all come out in public, because those women just flock together, birds of a feather flock together, and they look like those women that are completely unapproachable, totally intimidating to other men. And so what we recommend is, instead of creating an exclusion process where everyone is just eliminated immediately because they don't look a certain way or speak a certain way, we encourage women to start having inclusion processes, so really looking for the best in every man. So it's almost like a game you can play, so that rather than you look at everyone with a critical eye, if you're really out there looking for what you want, because it may not come in the package you're expecting, it's to really look at the man and think, gosh, what is the best I can find about this person? What can I find to appreciate? And it becomes a really genuine surprise because, first of all, you're a new person in the conversation. You're a kinder person in the conversation. Your interest is there. You're not eliminating them from the first few words. And then you start to see all the different characteristics of men that you may not have seen before.
Oh, I love that idea, the idea of an inclusion process. And isn't it interesting? I think so many women feel like, well, if they have this list, if they've sat down and created this list of what they're looking for, and so often, unfortunately, it might include some of the values we were talking about, but in my experience, more often includes things like, I want a man who's fit, I want a man who's 6 feet tall or taller, I want a man who makes at least $150,000 a year, I want a man who doesn't have any children or, has never been married or this or that or the other thing, a man who has a sense of style, a man who does this, that, and the other thing, drives a nice car. And they think by creating this list of all the things, the requirements he must have, that will bring them closer to finding that great guy, rather than being open to the package maybe looking different than what's on that list. And so by having the exclusion process, they're limiting their chances of finding the great guy rather than your idea of an inclusion process. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So, okay, so we talked about these negative beliefs and the negative conversations that we have going on. How can you overcome those negative conversations about men, about dating, whatever it is?
Well, the first thing, I would say is to definitely be aware of your inner chatter. Most of us don't like to listen to it and try to shut up our brain all the time. And I agree. I mean, we want that volume turned down because some of the stuff that our heads can say to us, or the conversations that we can have, can be pretty negative. And, I hear that with a lot of my clients and so many women, because we deal with so many women, and we find that is the biggest battle that they have, is that chatter inside. They have real courageous dreams and courageous goals, and they want it, and they know they really should have these things in life. But it's always that chatter that's stopping them, or it's not achieving the results. So the first thing to do is start listening to it and writing it down. So whether you get a journal and you notice it and you keep it with you all the time. So when you're on the phone with your girlfriend or when you're talking and all of a sudden you realize, wow, that just came out of my mouth. You got to notice what starts coming out of your mouth and notice what's going on in your head. Because if you constantly are saying over and over, I'll just never get anyone, or there's no good men out there, or I'm going to lose my freedom. I like to have it this way. Immediately when you write it down, you realize, oh, okay, is that going to work? Or I don't deserve this, and I don't deserve to be happy,
or I'm not lovable,
or no man's going to want to take care of me. When you write it down and you read it back to yourself consciously, and you say, whoa, that is completely against. What am I going to attract with that belief system?
Knowing that our thoughts like those are just simply magnets. Like if we were to think that each one of those limiting beliefs was an actual magnet, if we heard ourselves say, for example, I'm just not lovable, what does he see in me anyway? And then if you put that on paper and think, geez, this has a magnetic quality, I'm only going to meet those men and be in those circumstances where I'm proven right. And so the first step is, of course, to understand this is what I'm saying, this is how I'm magnetically creating these circumstances for myself, and that's why I'm alone. The second thing to do after that is one of two things. We could either do subconscious work, which is what Joanna specializes in that process you were talking about with actually reprogramming the negative limiting beliefs within an hour, where we go in to find out what the root of those subconscious beliefs are. When did this happen? When did the child within us make this decision that this is the truth about who we are, and then go in and resolve this limiting belief and truly reprogram the neurological pathways that run through our brain that create this thought every time we're triggered in one of those emotional situations. The second thing that we can do is transform those thoughts by actually having affirmation cards. And I know this sounds so simple because we read these things to ourselves like I am lovable and I'm loving and I attract love everywhere is one of our famous ones. And people read this and think, come on, just by saying things like this out loud, am I really going to make a difference? But if we really think about it in the cognitive behavior therapy model, our thoughts produce our emotions. And Gloria, you know better than anyone, if a woman's sitting there thinking, God, I'm 42, it's way too late for me, immediately if we measure her blood pressure and, her cortisol levels, everything goes up and we start going into a fight or flight response where our emotional brain takes over and we start going crazy and saying and doing things that are completely irrational. And so if we have a new thought that we've created that's a very positive one that makes us relax, one that makes us smile, one that makes us feel calm and reassured that, yes, it is here and it is coming and we are worth it, it completely changes our entire body chemistry. And we really recommend, we actually have what's called the Courageous Living Affirmation Card that we give free, and soon it'll be available on the website. But for anybody who writes in today at info@courageousliving.net, we'll send them a free affirmation card. And this is something that you can start saying to yourself. And just before a date especially, it's incredible the way that it changes how your mind is prepared for any conversation. You're relaxed and open and really willing to receive what's coming. And the third thing is to understand that we need to be open. We are now, as daters, looking for the man of our dreams. We're officially treasure hunters. To understand that everything we see isn't always what it seems. And so we have to be completely open to receive the good things that men are starting to give us. We're starting to receive all the different qualities and really think, wow, this is a whole new world I haven't been looking, at. Seeing things with new eyes, listening with new ears, and truly being open to what's available.
I love that. Thank you so much. You're listening to Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. I'm your host, Gloria McDonald of PerfectPartners.ca. Don't go away because we will be right back to answer some of your questions on why you're attracting the wrong men and recognizing some of those old limiting patterns that are keeping you single. I'm your host, Gloria McDonald, and you're listening to Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. Today we're talking about the ticking clock group of women, those women who are in their late 30s and early to mid-40s who are single and desperately want to have children. If you're in this group, or if you're a single man or woman in any age, frankly, I would highly recommend you go to my website. This is a special website that I've set up. It's www.90dayrelationshipprogram.com. That's 90, the number 90, dayrelationshipprogram.com. I have a 100% money-back guarantee on this program, and this is a program that will help you overcome some of those limiting patterns and beliefs that we've been talking about and get you to that place where you will be attracting the man or woman that's really important for you and perfect for you. So again, a 100% money-back guarantee on this program. You can go to 90dayrelationshipprogram.com. So today I'm talking with Joanna and Tanya of CourageousLiving.net, a company committed to providing experiential education, tools, and resources for a life of unyielding passion, purpose, and boundless creativity. So Joanna and Tanya, another question for you. How can women who are ready to have a baby communicate what they want during the dating period without sounding desperate or like they're asking the man to be a sperm donor or something like that?
Good question.
Good question, yes. Well, number one would be to be okay with being on your own. I mean, those questions, when it comes out desperate, it is only obviously because we are desperate. But the moment we make a decision to ourselves, and it takes that stopping for a moment and saying, hang on, I'm okay. I love myself. I'm okay on my own. I'm a great person. It's like the moment we think that we have to have somebody else attached to us and that's the only thing that's going to make us like good enough or worthy to have this relationship or have this baby, yeah, we get thrown into that desperate state. But so to really get present with yourself and say to yourself, okay, I am good enough by myself. I am okay on my own. I will be fine on my own. From that place, now many people might be saying, yeah, but I'm not, but I really want a baby and I really want this and I won't be okay on my own. But you see, it perpetrates that thinking again, and you get back in that fuck hole and you're just going down on that spiral and it gets worse and worse and worse. So it takes that moment to really come out consciously and realize, no, I'm 42 years old, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay on my own, and I do love myself. Then from that place, create what you want and make it's a clear conversation about just another one of those things that you have on your list, about those values and qualities you want in a man and the kind of relationship you want. And then when you express it to a man when you're on a date, and you know, sometimes it works out on the first date that it comes up in that conversation, or maybe it's the second date, but you know, that it comes out more in fun, play, and ease. It's just about who you are and what you're looking for and your goals and your aspirations and your dreams, not like a demand, you know, or in that desperate state.
Yeah, I mean, we really help women make it like it's an exciting conversation about what's coming next in their life and what they're really looking forward to. And it makes it so enrolling and so exciting that the person listening thinks, gosh, I would really love that. I would love to participate in that. That's something that just sounds fantastic to me. What a great dream. And when you have someone who shares a common vision, that's the very first place to know this is someone I can travel with along my journey because we're both going to a similar destination. And then the values play in, and from then on in, it becomes easy.
Absolutely. And you're not talking about just kind of mindlessly saying mantras over and over again like, okay, I'm happy on my own, I'm happy on my own, I'm happy on my own, but really, truly getting to a place where you know that, you feel that, and you trust that. Not to say that you won't ever have a child and you won't ever find a wonderful man, but you really have to be at a place where you're happy with yourself, that
yes.
you truly, truly do feel complete and whole, and you're bringing that to a relationship rather than coming to it from a place of, I'm empty and I need a man, I need a baby to complete me, right?
Exactly.
Totally. And, one other thing that we would say is we recommend that women date themselves. I think one of the key factors is that a lot of women tend to go out and go shopping and have all these beautiful clothes and know where to wear them. We'd rather that women spend that money on taking themselves out to a great movie, a great restaurant, a great bath, doing something special for themselves, and really being happy in their own presence, knowing that they can take care of themselves, they can provide for themselves what they're looking for a man to pay for. And then again, those superficial factors aren't what we're clamoring for. We're really thinking, I really love spending time with myself, and wouldn't it be great to share myself with someone else?
And that other way to spend time with yourself that would be really productive and really in alignment with this and loving yourself is also looking within. So if that means signing up for your programs, Gloria, our programs here at Courageous Living, seminars on relationship, or going in deeper and digging in, to why they don't love themselves and where it is, where it started from, and getting to that place that they truly can look in the mirror and say, I love you. You're beautiful. I love you. You are such a package. You're amazing. For so many women, the thought of that, I know in my own journey when I started, I could not do that. Even when I heard that I should do that, I started crying. And then when I first did it in the mirror, I started crying. And I couldn't even say it to myself. So that's why it's I definitely love to encourage, and Tanya loves to encourage women to do it, because we can really look in the mirror and say that to ourselves now. And that took going deeper and doing the work. And that's reading, finding out information, being with other women that can support you to grow in that way, to find out where that started and get rid of that conversation, because that's the one that's going to keep attracting the same old stuff.
Exactly. And I can speak from my own experience as well. I know I was divorced when I was 42 years old. I spent 5 years on my own. I dated, but I can tell you, if I'm perfectly honest, I was desperate. And I probably drove all my girlfriends crazy. Because
I did too at one point in my life.
I truly came from a place of desperation, and it wasn't until I honestly got to that point where I realized, you know what, I'm okay, and I have a phenomenal life, and I started really being grateful, genuinely and sincerely grateful for all the incredible good and joy and happiness I had in my life, and wouldn't you know, within literally 8 weeks, I found my husband.
Amazing.
And he was right in front of my nose all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Literally, he was there. I knew him, and I'd known him for 10 months, and I just wasn't attracted to him. Mm-hmm. And, there he ended up right in front of my nose.
Yeah. So, and you can just see, because if your belief systems before were the other way, you would just not even resonate with him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even come into your scope. But the moment you heal you, and feel that love for yourself and your life and how great, then you can so attract that great person. And it's happened for myself as well. Yeah. And I see that with the progression of relationships in my life. As I got healthier and healthier, I attracted healthier and healthier and healthier men.
Me too.
And it was just amazing. I realized the difference. And it just is, but if you don't do the work, there's the scary part. If you don't do the work and you just keep saying after every relationship that goes wrong, see, it's just the same old stuff, and you get more angry, more resentful, more bitter, more cold, you're getting worse and worse and worse men. You're attracting more and more of what you don't want because you keep reaffirming that's all that's out there.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple of emails, and we might not have time to get to all of them, but we'll see if we can squeak one in before the next break. This is from Rebecca. She says, I'm 38 years old, and I'm starting to get worried because I want to have a family, but it seems like I'm always attracting the wrong men. Just what we were talking about. They're married, they're players, or they don't want kids. What's going on?
Okay. Well, immediately my first thought would be, if she's attracting unavailable men, that's because she wants to stay with unavailable men. She is not available herself. There's some part of her that is not available. There's some part of her that wants to keep her safe. And I'm saying again, the subconscious mind wants to keep her safe from getting married, safe from being in a committed relationship that's working. Anytime we are attracting unavailable men, and unavailable men are players, and definitely married men or men who are not complete with their ex-girlfriend. Anytime we are attracting that over and over and over again, we've got to look at that again. What are our results? We are attracting unavailable men. That means we do not want to be in a committed relationship. So again, we need to look at our belief systems there and find out, why are we keeping ourselves safe over here? Or are we committed to suffering? Are we used to relationships are hard and we never get the love we want? So of course then we would attract that. If we have a belief system we're not lovable, then of course we would attract somebody who is unavailable and married, because now we're not going to get the love we want. We're not lovable. It's always, again, to those belief systems to look at.
And it really has nothing to do with the man whatsoever. I know this is hard to hear,
Nothing.
hard to accept, but it's got everything to do with you and what's going on in your thinking.
Exactly.
It does, because our thinking is what creates our life. And if we really want to see how things work, we have to understand that our life is something we've created. We often think powerlessly, this is what's happening to me. Ultimately, we are the creators of our life. Only we live the life that we have. And if we start changing the way that we think, it starts changing the way we feel, which starts changing the way that we act, and the results are different. So really, everyone lives an individual life because it is their own, created by their independent thinking.
Yeah, and it's hard to hear, but it really, really, really is the truth. So I hope for all of you that are listening out there, you really take some time to think about this and examine some of your own subconscious patterns and beliefs that are going on.
Mm-hmm. We're the common denominator.
Yeah. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
if you've been out there and you've met over 150 men, you're the common denominator.
Yeah.
I'm Gloria McDonald, and you're listening to Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. We'll be right back after this to talk about how you can overcome those limiting patterns in 1 hour. Welcome back again. I'm your host, Gloria McDonald of PerfectPartners.ca, and you're listening to Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. Today, we've been talking about the Ticking Clock Group. My guests are Joanna Andros and Tanya Chernova of CourageousLiving.net. And Joanna and Tanya, if our listeners want to get in touch with you, how do they find out about you? And I know you've got a program going on, Diva Day, so tell our listeners about it.
Fantastic, Gloria. So, listeners, you can get in touch with us by going to www.courageousliving.net. You can also write to us at info@courageousliving.net, and we'll immediately send you an affirmation card, a Courageous Living affirmation card, so you can start attracting all the love that you want in your life. And we have a phenomenal event coming up. It's only once a year called Diva Day, and this is our 5th one. It's on November 7th, 2009 at the Hilton Toronto Airport Hotel, and all the details are just on the website. It's a Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. for women to recharge and reconnect to what's important in their lives, and that's themselves. So it's a phenomenal full-day forum of speakers that help women enrich every area of their life, and our theme this year is relationships, and we're thrilled to have Gloria McDonald as our premier relationship speaker guest there, so you'll hear more of Gloria and you'll see her live. And also, Joanna will be talking about breaking negative patterns in your relationships. As well, you'll get lots of information about your hormones, your skin, anti-aging. You'll do a pussycat doll dancing class. It's just amazing, and we have women from all ages that come for this day. And we'd like to offer your listeners a special, because normally the tickets for this event, which include breakfast, lunch, and gourmet dinner, and a gorgeous diva bag, are $350. But we'll give you the pre-registration price. So if you register and you write in the promo code Dating201, then it goes down to $295. And ladies, if you bring your girlfriends, when 3 ladies come together, it's $245 for the entire day. All the information, all the meals, and all the love that you can imagine, especially that you also get to meet women that are supportive now in your network, a new courageous network of women.
That's fantastic. So again, the website is courageousliving.net, and the special promo code is Dating201. So thanks for that. Now, Joanna, I know you've developed a proven coach therapy process to uncover and eliminate those negative subconscious beliefs that hold people back from achieving their goals. And it all happens within 1 hour. So how can a listener recognize those old limiting patterns that might be keeping them single, and what do they do? How does this special process work?
Okay. Well, some women will already know what's in their way, and they probably hear it all the time, and they're probably well aware of that belief. If that belief is just getting so loud in their head, and they're now, even walking away from the show, going to really start hearing it over and over again, then next thing you know, they just need to give a call to us, get us on the website, or call right here, 416-251-2050, because I do it one-on-one with somebody and work with them. And we can do it on the phone. They can do it in person, but it is able to be done on the phone. It's not even a problem. And it's just talking on the telephone. Nobody's being hypnotized or anything like that, but it's working with that subconscious mind and finding that belief system, where it is dug in there, buried in there, and programmed in there, and talking to that part of you, because it really is a part that believes that you're not good enough. And then, but you as an adult believes, yeah, I am, and I deserve great things. And so when we start getting that information from that little part within, and then find out where it happened or something in our past, and then resolve it, as Tanya had mentioned before, and let the adult really even meet that part inside. It sounds really weird. I know in the short little period I've got to say this, but it is so logical, and it is so healing, and it does resolve that issue. And next thing you know, that person walks out with that belief system gone. And it will be gone. Now, of course, we have many belief systems and many things that can get in our way, but at least that level's gone, and they will notice an immediate difference. And then if they hear another level come up, that's when they call in again, and you can deal with those belief systems one by one. Anything that gets in your way, including phobias, fears, anxiety, any of those things can be tackled with this process. And it's very simple, very easy. It's not overly traumatic or anything like that. It's just like talking and resolving that issue. The other thing is, if they have no idea where that is and what the belief is, that's still not a problem, because in a quick conversation, I can completely find and identify what are the belief systems that are stopping them. It's very, very simple. It's just what I specialize in, because I'm very attuned to listening to people's conversations and listening to what they say, what comes out of their mouth. But most of us don't stop for a moment and actually recognize what comes out of our mouth. And right in there are all those belief systems.
Powerful, powerful stuff. So again, can you just give our listeners your phone number one more time, Joanna?
Sure. It's 416-251-2050.
Great. Mm-hmm. So again, I encourage our listeners to go to your website, courageousliving.net, check out Diva Day, and give you a call.
Yes, we'd love to have them.
Yeah. One final question. We're not going to have a lot of time for this, but if, I meet women all the time who are in this ticking clock group, and they want the family, but they don't have the man yet, and they just don't have a lot of time to spare. And sometimes they feel like, that they have to make a decision. And what do they do if they're in that spot, and they, do they go ahead and have a child without the man, or do they focus on just finding a man and maybe give up the opportunity to having a child? Any thoughts on that?
Well, I know that Joanna's going to jump in any second, but just to really give you quickly, Gloria, some of the really practical things that we can think about. If genuinely a woman is committed to having a child, and it really is come down to the very bottom line for her, and she can't wait any longer, if she feels confident enough to take care of it on her own with her immediate support group, go and have the child. Because ultimately, a woman that's already at a certain age who's desperate and can't get over it because she really is at the edge of the ticking clock is better off to go, get what she wants, feel phenomenal about it, and then bring a man into her life who is very happy having both a wife and a child as a total package. There's many men out there that think that's great to have an instant family. The second thing, too, that's absolutely now available is that doctors are giving women an option to freeze their eggs. And I know this sounds crazy, but technology is now available so that if we still want to have them, but we're just not at the process and we absolutely want a man in our lives, we can go and do that and then fertilize the egg when we're ready with a proper relationship. And then I know that Joanna has something else.
Just the quick thing I would also say, at that point I would say definitely get a coach or get somebody to work with you. I mean, preferably somebody who's really going to dig within and find out okay, why at 40 or 44 or 45 do you not have a child already if it was something you really, really wanted?
Thank you so much, Joanna. And Tanya, I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut you off.
No problem.
I'm Gloria McDonald of Perfect Partners, and thank you so much for joining me this week on Secrets of Dating and Relationship Success. I hope you've enjoyed this show. Go to my website, perfectpartners.ca, to check out the 90-day Relationship Attraction Conditioning Program. And I look forward to having you with us again next week. Have a fantastic week and a life full of love.